Hey, all right. I'm Partyman X. This is Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures. Kind of a strange game to exist. They decided to call this game a sequel to Pac-Man. As you'll see, that's kind of weird. Um, so anyway, let's get started here. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Good luck, have fun.
Thank you. Um, Starting out here, we're getting our first objective. Um, yeah, so th- already there's a lot going on here. If you are familiar with Pac-Man, usually he's going through mazes. He's not here. Uh, so to kind of explain what this game is in the simplest way, it's a renamed version of what released in Japan as Hello Pac-Man. So it's not really meant to be a sequel to Pac-Man. It's what they call an interactive cartoon. So we don't have direct control of Pac-Man here. We're just letting him do his thing, and then we have this slingshot and can influence the world that way. And kind of the idea is Pac-Man is almost fighting against you as you kind of do adventure game style objectives. So here we need milk for Pac Baby. So we've just decided it's best to get raw milk straight from the cow. No big deal.
I mean,
So yeah.
we don't know the metabolism of Pac-Man babies.
True. It can't be good. But something we don't see here is if you go into the town, there's a store with a closed sign in front of it. So I think you're supposed to kind of see that and be like, oh, well, how else can we do this? And there's a cutscene at the end of Pac Baby absolutely downing the milk, so we don't see the effects of it, but it seems like it doesn't go too wrong, so
Baby is safe.
yeah. So now it is a human who lives in town, Lucy's birthday. So we have to get her some flowers from the mountain. Here's the ropeway station that we have to take up to the mountains. This is kind of like the longest part of the run somehow, just the second part of the game. They decided to add some action sections that are, I'll say, ill-advised.
I mean,
So
the game
here-
is a magic bag.
It really is. So you saw a little speedrun trick there. When Pac-Man was looking to the right, we just shot him directly so he would not continue his animation because it's rather slow. This game kind of has a lot of that, of you trying to really fight against what the game is and make it play as few animations as possible. Again, the idea of this game is that it's an interactive cartoon, so like it's kind of trying to push you to just not necessarily do the things that it's telling you to, but just kind of get to them in very roundabout ways. We're interacting with another mechanic of this game, which you can throw out a power pellet and Pac-Man will turn into Super Pac-Man. And when he is Super Pac-Man, he moves in a different way. We landed in not where we wanted to. Ideally, we would have landed past the guide. He wouldn't have read it and just gotten into the minecart, which this game has a minecart section. This was kind of the tail end of everything needing one. So we get to see how this game handles that, because you still do not get direct control over Pac-Man. You still have to play by telling Pac-Man to just go faster or shoot the stuff around him with our slingshot.
I don't think it's fair to say that no Pac-Man were harmed in the playing of this game, because he does take a lot of a beating.
Yeah. This part gets a little scary as a speed run. There's some very difficult hazards to deal with here. And I'm going to be a little quiet for a second here because you have to hear this music. So as you might be able to tell, the music is connected to how fast you're going. So because you cannot move at a constant rate in this, it's just an absolute mess. It's wonderful. Honestly, I do love this game's soundtrack. It's just a very fun, very like cartoony, just soundtrack. It's
I mean, this entire game is just an experience. And chat is absolutely on board, going faster, faster, faster. I mean, the game is telling you what your job is, basically.
Exactly.
So somebody was asking, like, whether the game is also on Genesis because they remember the sound being different.
Yep. Yeah, it was on Genesis. I think the sound in that version is not very good.
You're probably opening some can of worms right now for some people.
For sure.
Do I have some time for a couple donations?
Sure.
So we have $10 from Manic Ascendant saying, Manic Ascendant sends a $10 donation with the comment. Manic Ascendant sends a $10 donation with the comment. Manic Descendant sends a $10 donation with the comment. Manic Ascendant sends a $10 donation with the comment. Manic Ascendant sends a $10 donation with the comment. Hi. Thank you for that. And JD Puppy sends $8 saying, this is a verified Pac-Man sequel, Pac-Man 2, The Desolation of Smaug. Does Pac-Man get a blue check mark over the course of this game?
There's probably a way to do it. Wouldn't surprise me.
Somebody throw $8 at it.
So we did something kind of important to the run back there, in that we let a drop of water drop onto Pac-Man, which changes his mood. I just realized I had not explained this yet. Sort of central mechanic to this game is that Pac-Man has a mood, and throughout the run we kind of have to manipulate it so that he behaves correctly through certain things. That's another difference between the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of this. At what I specifically did right there in Genesis, to keep Pac-Man happy through that section and able to climb the rope, you have to shoot the boulder as it's going down, saving Pac-Man. In the SNES version, you're fine just shooting Pac-Man out of the way of the boulder, which is much more consistent. And now we're on to the second action section of this game. Again, ill-advised. So now Pac-Man's on a glider. I'm not sure why he decided to do this, but
it's just classic Pac-Man gameplay. What are you saying?
Yeah. So this obstacle is kind of a pushover, maybe intentionally so. You can just fly right above him as he drops the boulder.
And you should definitely get in your donations telling Partyman X to go faster and higher in very, very big letters.
You do have to wonder how much of the cartridge is dedicated to just the voice sample saying, look faster and higher. It can't be insignificant.
That's like the biggest chunk. The second biggest chunk is just Pac-Man facial animations.
Yeah. That's something very impressive about this game is it's very high effort when you get down to it. Like there's like very few bugs to run into. Like, everything is just very well put together for, honestly, one of the worst ideas.
I mean, you say one of the worst. I think there's nothing that will ever be like this, and it's perfect like that.
Truly, it is an excellent game.
Decisions were made, and I'm happy about them.
It kind of exists as a part of sort of a canon of games that were, I don't know, kind of towing the line between being like a virtual pet and adventure game. Like, I kind of get this impression that developers were trying to translate adventure games to home consoles, and just somehow they made like 3 kind of things. There's a Neo Geo Pocket game out there that's sort of similar in that you're making progress, just showing off goofy scenes and like a virtual pet sort of thing. There's I think it's called Panic on the Sega CD, kind of mixing adventure game and a character you don't directly control. So a lot of people were into this idea, I guess.
I mean, I get it. You know what it makes me think of right now? The Last Guardian. Where it's like, instead of like trying to manipulate the dog into doing your bidding, you manipulate Pac-Man, but they did it 20 years before, or 30.
Yeah, this game is ahead of its time. Just you wait.
Absolutely. Like that, but unironically. It's like the definition of they just don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah. That was something I was kind of thinking about recently. It was like, I would want to see this game remade just to see it. Alright, so we're on
100%. I would pay money for that.
Oh, I would pay so much money for that. But we're on the third mission now. Pac-Man's son, Pac Jr., got his guitar stolen in the city by ghosts.
Sorry, go on.
They wrote a story for this game, and it's about as good as a Pac-Man game can get, I guess.
I mean, I guess in the first part, the first game, the story was more in the subtext.
Yeah. So, something we've kind of been missing by skipping the cutscenes is that there's this mysterious character that, if you have read the instruction manual or the intro text, is the Ghost Witch of Netor. No clue who that is.
Classic Pac-Man character.
Yeah, they invented her for this game, I think. So we don't quite know her whole deal yet, but we'll get to that in the next part of the game. So now we're taking the train station to the city. We're not going to see too much of it, but we're going to do a quick animation cancel and then mood manipulation, both by shooting Pac-Man directly in the face. We need him to get angry because there's a pop machine coming up here that we want him to just walk by. If his mood is too happy, he'll try to get a pop and it won't work out for him. There will be some antics, but we're just going to skip that.
That was like a beautiful euphemism for like physical violence. We do some mood manipulation by shooting him in the face.
Speaking of physical violence,
oh
that
lordy.
is the meanest trick in the game, but we needed Pac-Man to get very angry to confront this guard here who is blue. So there are all sorts of characters in this game that just do not fit in with Pac-Man. We want to shoot a power pellet here, waiting for Pac-Man to be able to interact with it. Oh, it turns out the guard was all of the ghosts. So we wanted a power pellet there.
This is not a guard, it's 3 ghosts in a trench coat.
Yeah. So, yeah, we wanted to put the power pellet there because if you noticed, Inky was just slightly to the right of Pac-Man and was moving to the right once Pac-Man turns super. It allows the guitar to drop a little further to the right, closer to the exit, which isn't as important in the SNES version because in the Genesis version, Pac-Man gets distracted by the gate if he's too far to the left, but SNES version, that isn't an issue. So here we also drop in another power pellet to skip past this hot dog stand because it's another long animation where this cat will run by and try to steal Pac-Man's hot dog if you aren't quick enough to shoot it. And that's just the whole can of worms that we're just not going to get into.
Everything about this game is so quotable. It's just like, now we have to get Pac-Man past the hot dog stand so the cat doesn't steal the hot dog. Can I read a quick donation?
Sure.
We have $10 by JD Puppy saying, Pac-Man, go! Open angle bracket, font size equals extra large, style bold color, red, close angle bracket, faster! Open angle bracket / font close angle bracket exclamation point.
Excellent.
I think JD Puppy wants you to go faster.
Yeah. That's fair. Alright, so now we're on the last part of the game where we're going to confront the Ghost Witch. She has been stealing all of the chewed gum from the kids and been creating a monster out of it. Pac-Man 2.
Witches do.
Yeah.
You could just like end every sentence and be like, Pac-Man 2. That's the elevator pitch.
So here, we don't want to use any power pellets, so we're just going to let the scene play out. Pac-Man isn't going to get a hot dog because he runs into the hot dog stand and is, I guess, too embarrassed to get a hot dog. We're going to make our way back to the city. We're going to see something we hadn't seen before, which is so there's a building over to the right. It's a burger restaurant, which I think the advertisement here is for. This is the greatest graphic in the game. It is so good. Just a dude enjoying a burger.
It must be a good burger.
I want it. So, normally there's some other stuff here, but now there's a window washing station because throughout the game we've been collecting ID cards, and then there's one up on top of this building that we haven't been able to get until now. We need to get 3 to finish the game. So here's where the third one is. Pac-Man just gets into the window washing station like it's no big deal and goes up here. Ooh, we got our timing a little off there. We wanted Pinky to be to the right of Pac-Man so that she would go a little bit to the right, which makes this ID card closer to the exit of the screen, but sadly we did not get that. It can be a little tight on timing.
On the other hand, we get a little bit more of Pac-Man, so I'm not complaining. I'm having a time.
So yeah,
is there like a big difference between the Genesis and the SNES versions? Like as far as the speedrun is concerned?
There's enough differences. A few things are kind of changed around a tiny bit. Just certain things work and don't work. But for the most part, it's a pretty accurate translation.
Except the soundtrack on which there is controversy.
Oh yes, yeah, they don't have.
I think that's with most. I think that's with most games that were on both consoles. There seems to be like a divide.
Yeah, in certain games the FM synthesis can sound good, but in my opinion, Pac-Man 2 it just doesn't work as well because all of the samples in this game are just excellently chosen. Especially Pac-Man's voice, which we haven't really mentioned here, but it's so good. It's like a weird sort of cat thing going on, and it has infected my brain ever since I've been a child. It's so good.
Yeah, I didn't learn about this game until way into my teens, I think, and it's been with me ever since. It's my favorite Pac-Man thing to exist.
I think it's a thing that, like, psychologists recommend not introducing Pac-Man 2 to children under a certain age.
And I would do it anyway. It's so goofy, I love it.
It's so good.
Also, like some of the biggest games of like the later times are clearly inspired by this. Like, I mean, remember how the Wind Waker got so much praise for Link's facial expressions, and here we are with Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Doing that already, like decades before. A decade before.
Yeah, it's such a high effort game for what it is. It's so good.
Pat says that Pac-Man literally sounds related to Yoshi.
It's true.
I mean, they're both in Smash Brothers. We can spin that.
So now we are in a ghost factory sort of thing. You know, I hadn't really thought about this section of the game too much, but now I'm realizing this is weird.
Are the ghosts in Pac-Man clones of each other?
That's a great question.
Is this like canonically where they all come from?
I think so, because like if Pac-Man is not in the right mood there, he can be picked up and turned into a ghost.
So the lore is getting deep here.
Yeah.
So there's a ghost-making factory, and I want to mention they have like Pac-Man-shaped knobs on them, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
No.
There's a conspiracy at hand here.
Alright, so here we see some horrors beyond human comprehension. Pac-Man is going to take a look at this, and he's pretty chill with it.
Yeah. Like, just casual conversations about Pac-Man. What's your favorite part about Pac-Man? When he goes into the weird lab with the abominations, of course.
Yeah. So there's a cool little speed trick there. We get to shoot Pac-Man as he jumps, and that boosts him a little bit.
That was pretty badass. That was like Devil May Cry kind of style.
Oh yeah. So back a couple screens ago, you might have noticed a bunch of frying pans hung up on the wall. If you defeat the ghosts on that screen, Pac-Man will get the confidence to knock all those down, revealing a secret code. It's always the same on every run. I always remember it as 451, the code used in like all of the immersive sim games. I forget what order they actually give it to you in. It doesn't matter what order you enter it in, so yeah, now we're entering the final boss of the game. Time is coming up. I'll let you know what that is, when that is, because it's very quick. So here we get to confront the gum monster. You see in the bottom right corner, there's like one pixel doing a lot of work.
I mean, that is an abomination from Owl House, if anybody's watched that.
Oh no. So this fight can be a little frustrating because the gum monster's got this arm that attacks Pac-Man, and it's always right when Pac-Man is moving, so you have a short window to hit it, and also the screen is moving, so you got a moving target. But that's time.
Nice.
So we have defeated the gum monster and saved the day.
Clap, clap, clap. I mean,
Yes,
the day
absolutely.
started so innocently with just getting some milk.
Yeah, so that is how Pac-Man 2 goes.
GG.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
it truly is an amazing game that I do, despite everything, recommend people play.
And I recommend to everyone because of everything.
So the Ghost Witch claims she'll be back. She did actually appear in one more game, Pack in Time. It's an interesting game that is much too long.
Is that one of the platformers?
Yeah. It was a SNES platformer. Very appropriately used to be, it's a renaming of, I think, an Amiga game called Fury of the Furries. So
Well, that's topical.
it truly is. I
Anyway,
absolutely love that.
is there still anyone you want to shout out?
Um Not necessarily. Everyone else who runs this game is pretty cool. I don't know how we are on time. There's one more thing I kind of want to show at the end of these credits. Do we have some time to wait through these?
Unless I don't hear anything to the contrary, I'll just let it run.
All right, sounds good. So, as I've kind of suggested throughout the run, I don't think they're really intending this game to be speedrun, and we'll kind of see that at the end of this game. But first, we get to see Pac-Man walk out, thank us for playing.
This is so sweet.
It's so good. Pac-Man is adorable. Now we see right now. Pac-Man passes us a note. We'll get to see that in a second. But first, we get the Mandrill Club logo, which doesn't exist in the Genesis version, and I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it was the testing group, development group. I'm not quite sure. All right, so we got a message from Pac-Man. This is kind of the stinger. Great job. You beat the game, but you didn't find many of my world's secrets. Play the game again to keep your current percentage and try to explore my world more thoroughly. Finish the game with a higher percentage to get a special password. And then it tells you how to actually check that percentage. So, more or less, the game is just like, hey, you should play the game more.
I mean, so I guess next time we'll just have to have 100% run, right?
Absolutely. So to quickly explain, if we check the percentage, we only cleared 21% of the game, and that is connected to how many animations you see. I'm not sure anyone has ever 100% cleared the game.
So
People
there's
were
like,
trying for a while there, and no one could figure it out.
so what you're saying is there's like 4 times the amount of amazing animation still left to see.
Truly, yes. So
So there you
again, I
go, folks.
recommend anyone try this game. Sadly, I don't think it's ever going to be re-released because Ms. Pac-Man exists in it. So that's fun. But yeah, that's Pac-Man
Anyway,
too.
cool. Thank you so much, Partyman X, for your amazing run of this wonderful little gem of a game.
Thank you.
While we go back into intermission,